Hi there, coach. I have a question for you. Do you know if your coaching business is making any money? Do you know if you're profitable? If not, it's time to make friends with your money and create a real business budget. In this video, I want to show you how to build a detailed business budget for your coaching business so you can forecast your income, your expenses, and you always know if your business is making money. As always, make sure you hit that bell icon so you get notified when new episodes become available every Wednesday. All about helping you go from passion to profits in your coaching business. Hi there, coach. It's Carolin Soldo here, and my mission is to help you go from passion to profits in your coaching business. Now, talking about profits, today I want to help you be smart with your money and implement a business budget that will help you track your income, your expenses, and also your bottom line, and of course, your profits. No matter how new you are in business, you should have a budget. And right now is the best time for you to implement one. With a budget, you can see what investments will do to your bottom line. You will know your break-even point, and you can also forecast what will happen with your money and your income as you add more people, as you increase advertising, for example, as you launch new programs, and you can plan out your entire year to make sure you hit your income goals. Now, budgeting and finances and dealing with money is scary for many people. I know that. And that's why so many of you don't have a budget and you would rather not look at your money, right? You don't look at your bank accounts. You don't look at your credit card statements. But that's a big mistake. I want you to make friends with your money, really love your money, love your budget, because that will make you feel confident in your abilities to run your business. You will know what you can invest in, you know what you can afford, and you will always have money left over in your account to move forward with your business. That's very, very important. So I want to give you a very simple to implement budget and also a template that you can download below in the description, and you can actually go and build your budget with me as we go through this video. So right now is a really good time for you to actually download my template and then already start to plug in your own information and your numbers as I walk you through how to set up your business budget. Let's take a look at your budget template. What you're looking at right now is a template filled in with sample data. And what you need to do now is actually fill in your own data, of course. Now let me walk you through all these line items so you know exactly what to do with your budget template. At the top, you'll see your program income. What I want you to do is actually type in your program name. So I have a hybrid program and an upsell program. You may have one program, two programs. If you have more programs, literally feel free to edit this budget and add additional rows where you can enter all of your programs' names and your program sales, of course, as well. The columns at the top are your months. So you have January, February, March, April, May, June, and so forth. And what you want to do is literally start wherever you are right now. So if right now is September, we're going to start filling everything in September, and you can hide the rest, or you can even delete the rest. And then every year you can copy this budget and start over. When it comes to your line items, I want you to plug in how many clients you think you will get every single month, or you can go back and say how many clients did I actually enroll every single month. So for program number 1, I have 20, 14, 16. So I actually fill in how many clients I am enrolling into my programs every single month, and I have this plugged in here for every program I have in my coaching business. Now all of my program line items here and my clients add up to my total income. So let's take a look at this formula here. For example, in January, this formula is B3, which is my program number 1, which is 20 times 4,000, which is my assumed program price, plus B4, which will be my upsell program, times 8,000, which is my upsell program price. And because there's nothing here for my upsell program, my total comes out to be $80,000. So 20 times 4,000. So when you're looking at these formulas, make sure you change a couple of things. Make sure you change your prices. So you may want to change the 8,000 and also the 4,000 here. Make sure you change the 8,000, make sure you change the 4,000, and make sure your actual program prices are in here so that your total income is accurate. Now that we have your income in the budget, let's take a look at your expenses. The first couple of rows are your operating expenses, and this is usually for coaches, all of the online tools that we're using. So what you want to do here is literally go through your monthly credit card statement or your bank statement and take a look at all the tools that you're using, and you want to enter them here one by one. And if anything is missing, which will probably be the case for you, again, make sure you enter additional rows in this file and enter them here and literally add all of your monthly expenses. Now, credit card fees are a formula for me, so I assume that you will pay 2.3% of your income in credit card fees. So depending on which payment processor you're using, that percent might be different. So if you're paying less, change this. If you're paying more, change this as well. Then I have line items here for ManyChat, for QuickBooks, for Liquid Web, which is web hosting, Woofu, Dropbox, Podio, Entreport, ClickFunnels, literally all of the little tools that we might be using in our business. And again, all this data here is fictitious, okay? So none of the pricing here is necessarily accurate. None of these tools are necessarily used in my business, okay? So I put these in here to give you some examples and some starting points so that the budget would make sense for you. So what you need to do is make sure you enter the accurate expenses you have in your business. Make sure only your operating expenses and your tools are in this budget so that this accurately reflects what's happening in your business. Further down below, I have a line item here for a sales team, and you may not have a sales team right now, but if you do, you can use it. The formula for your sales team is based on your income, and it's based on a certain commission level. Again, these numbers are completely fictitious, and you want to enter what really applies to you. Just to make sure you understand the formula, this is your income, so B6, times your commission rate. And in this example, we're assuming that you pay 10% commission. Rows 31 to 34 in our budget are for advertising, and I have them broken out separately because that is usually a big expense in your business and an expense that drives your income. So I have Facebook ads, Facebook ads management, that's what you might be paying to someone who runs the ads for you, Google ads, and then also Google ads management. So make sure you put the appropriate prices in here as well. Next, we have team members. So this might be your coaches, your VA, your copywriter, your website designer, your brand designer, and everybody else that is supporting you in your business. So make sure that you enter their names here, or if you're trying to forecast and plan, you can put their job titles in here because you're planning to hire someone in the future, right? And you can also plug in how much you're willing to pay them or how much you're planning to pay them to forecast your budget and your profitability. Row 47 is simply a team total because I feel it's nice to know how much you're paying for just your team. And then row 48 is a total operating expense line item, which is your team plus your ads plus all of your regular operating expenses. Now down below here in row 50 to 54, I have other ad hoc expenses, and these are things that are not monthly. So things like sales page builds, retreats and events, photo shoots, maybe coaching, maybe travel. Here you have some space where you can enter information and things that you purchase in your business that are maybe one time, right? They're not recurring every single month, and you can pop them in here whenever they occur. That brings us down to row 55, which is a total for any other expenses you have. Row 56 is your grand total. Those are all of your expenses in your business. So that's literally just a formula. And the formulas are already in this sheet done for you, so you don't have to change anything there. And then we drop down to row 58, which is your income before taxes. So that takes your income at the top, minus all of your expenses, brings it down to your net income. And then there is a tax line item. I have assumed 35%, but again, based on your unique situation, that might be different. So make sure you change the 0.35 to whatever your tax rate might be. After taxes, you have row 60, which is your net income after taxes. And then I also gave you a profit margin calculation at the bottom in the pink. And that is your net income out of your total revenue that you're generating. So that allows you to track what your profit margin looks like and how much money you actually have left over at the end of every month. One last thing I want to show you is on the right hand side in column N, you have your totals. So there's a total income, there's a total expenses, and of course also a total profit margin. So this is where you can take a look at your annual profitability, your annual income, your annual expenses, and make sure all of this makes sense for you. If you have any questions on the budget or how to use it, feel free to leave me a comment below the video. I would love to help you out. Don't be afraid to play with the formulas, play with the numbers. And of course, I hope this serves you and really puts you into that power position when it comes to managing your money. And now I'd like to give you some bonus tips and things you should be doing with your budget frequently to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. Tip number 1 is to figure out your break-even point. Knowing your break-even point is really important if you want to hit your income goals and your profit goals, right? It's not all about income. It's really about what's left at the end of the month in your account, right? What your profitability looks like. So when you have your budget all set, you can then play with those numbers and you can increase your income, you can play with your expenses, you can add more advertising, reduce advertising, you can add more team members, you can let team members go. You can really play with those numbers and see where you land and see what your break-even point is so that you always know how much money you need to generate in your business in order for you to break even at least and also make the profits you want to make. Tip number 2 is to figure out your cost per customer. One really important thing for you to know is how much a client actually costs you. Now you might be wondering, well, how am I going to figure that out? Well, it's actually quite easy with your budget. When you know your overhead expenses, such as your online tools, you know your advertising and marketing expenses, you know your team expenses, you know your financing expenses, you know how much you pay for certain things, you can factor them into a total, and then you can at the top figure out how many clients you're actually bringing in with a certain level of expense, right? So what does it take for you to bring in a certain number of clients? And then you can do some simple math to calculate your cost per client. So for us, for example, a client has advertising expense, right? There is commission for my sales team. There is team hours, so my coaches spend their time coaching my clients and answering emails and being on coaching calls and Q&A calls and whatnot. So I am making a list of all the things I need to pay for and dedicate to a customer to make sure I know what my cost per customer really comes down to. The cost per customer then also, of course, helps you figure out if you're charging enough, right? So next time you wonder about how much you should be charging for a coaching program, look at your expenses as well and see whether what you're charging right now makes any sense and what your profit margins really are. Tip number 3 is to forecast annual sales. One thing many new coaches do frequently is be very short-sighted. And that's okay, right? It's not your fault. You're looking at the now. You're looking at this month and this week and how much money am I making right now. But something that you also need to keep in mind is your annual goals, because you will have fluctuations in your business, you have seasons, you have ebb and flow happening, right? And one good month could be followed by a bad month or a not so good month, and you can make that up next month as well. And especially with the evergreen business model that we have and that we teach you, you will be enrolling clients every single month. So don't get so hung up on just 1 month or 1 week or even 1 day. Look at the big picture and take a look at how much you want to be earning in 1 year. What's your annual income goal, right? And then use your budget to plan it out, to forecast it and model it, and use those numbers to really guide your investments, to guide your marketing, to guide where you focus your own time to maximize your chances of hitting your annual income goals. And tip number 4 is to be really aware of high expenses. You know, sometimes there's so much happening in our business and we have so many tools and so many things we're doing and so many investments that we don't even know how much we're really paying, right? If we're really honest, sometimes that happens and that's okay. But when you have a budget and you have all these numbers in front of you, you can take a look and say, well, what stands out? Am I paying too much for something? Are any of these numbers really high compared to something else? Am I overpaying somewhere? Where can I save money? So every quarter, at least once a quarter, I sit down with my budget and my accountant, and we go through everything line by line by line, and we say, are we paying too much? Where can we save money? Where can we be more efficient? Where can we negotiate more? Can we go with a different vendor for credit card processing, for example, and save some credit card processing fees, right? So with your budget, you will have ideas, and inside you'll have a vision into your money situation that will empower you to make those important decisions, save money, and boost your profit line, your profit margin one by one every single month. So at least once a quarter, sit down and take a look at your line items, your expenses, take a look at where your money actually goes, and ask yourself whether you're making smart decisions with your money. And now I would love to hear from you. In the comments below, let's have a money conversation. Let me know how you're feeling about your money situation, and download my budget and fill it out. And when you fill it out, think about how it makes you feel, how empowered you feel, how clear you feel, and how on top of your finances you feel. I hope this exercise makes you feel empowered, makes you feel like you're making smarter decisions in your business, and it gives you the tools and the insight you need to grow and scale your business very successfully. Now stay focused on your goals and stay focused on your finances, because now you know how important that is, and move forward towards growing a successful coaching business. If this video served you, if you loved it, make sure you give me a like below, leave me a comment, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Do you want to build a successful online coaching business, but you're not sure how to get started, and you're scared of wasting time and money on the wrong steps? Let me be your coach and show you the right steps to quickly launch your business, attract the perfect clients, and multiply your income. To learn more, go to coachingbusinesstraining.com.